In our new normal series, we're looking at how the coronavirus is changing our everyday lives. This morning, how the pandemic is taking a bite out of American favorite, the hamburger. Beef prices are up 20% since February. The meat industry was hit hard when the virus sickened thousands of workers at packing plants. Those higher prices have opened the door for plant-based meat alternatives. Barry Petersen shows us the battle stretching from the heartland to your local supermarket.
Under an endless Wyoming sky, Mark Isley and his daughters are calling in the cattle. Owner of the King Ranch Company and a rancher for 50 years, Isley has survived droughts, economic downturns, even blizzard. But the pandemic has wreaked havoc on packing plants, causing shortages and concerns. How nervous are you, Mark, about coping with the coronavirus these next few months?
Financially, we'll be challenged.
Do you think it's going to get more expensive for consumers?
It probably will for a little while. I hate to say that, but I imagine it's supply and demand, and where the bottlenecks will be affecting it.
Higher prices and fewer beef cuts in grocery stores have created a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for his competitors, the makers of meat substitutes.
Meat tastes pretty good, right? So let's go ahead and build it from plants. Hey there.
Ethan Brown is the founder and CEO of Beyond Meat, a plant-based alternative created in a lab. He's battling for a bigger share of the market.
We now have an opportunity to be price competitive with beef with respect to our burgers, and so we're taking that opportunity, and this summer we're going to be very aggressive on our pricing.
In this David versus Goliath competition for consumers, beef is a $67 billion business. But since the onset of the virus, sales of fresh meat alternatives have more than doubled from a year ago.
Vegan soul food is one of the hottest trends in soul food right now.
Adrian Miller is an award-winning food writer and barbecue competition judge.
I think if they can get the cost down and then do effective promotion to different communities, I think it could really take off. I've had several plant-based burgers, and they're pretty good.
When my son wants to know what's most important, I tell him my job is to look out for the next generation.
Beyond Meat created a campaign with some of their celebrity investors, including Chris Paul and Kevin Hart. And for summer barbecues, a value pack of Beyond Burger sells at a suggested price of $6.40 per pound, narrowing the gap to beef patties, which are around $5.65 a pound. This cattleman, for one, isn't buying.
Everything in here is highly processed, and I think that's my biggest problem with it.
Which to you says not as healthy as
Not as healthy,
hamburger.
nothing, not even close. My father's 86, my mother's 85. That's been the staple of their diet for their entire life. I would like to do as well and follow right in their footsteps.
If you're having animal protein 3 times a day and you're consuming a lot of processed meat and red meat, I think the literature is pretty clear on the health implications of that. So I think it would be misguided to say that that's what's causing their potential longevity.
On the ranch, Isley took me for a ride in his 1928 Model A Ford, almost as old as the ranch itself.
This was the new technology of its time.
But Brown thinks the Model A tells a different story about his new technology.
Henry Ford didn't go around saying that the horse is the source of all evils and wrongs in the world. Just created a better way to get from point A to B. If you think that way, you can win consumers over because they also want something better.
I think beef will continue to sell. I think it'll continue to be popular.
Whether faux meat is a fad or part of a new normal, as summer continues to sizzle, the battle for your dollars will stretch from the prairie to the dinner plate. For CBS This Morning, Barry Petersen, west of Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Hold on a second. Barry gets to ride the classic car and ride the horse during the story.
And he probably had a
of course turns into a
burger
great
as well.
story again, as usual.
Yeah.
It's all about tasting these, right? Because some of the
It is.
plant-based burgers are really bad.
Right.
Some of them taste better.
Yeah, I actually had my first vegetarian hot dog last week.
How was it? Oh, boy. I like the Impossible Whopper. It's good.
I'll have to try that one.
Okay.